JJ, just your perspective on the final shot from LeBron and kind of coming on a game where he starts slow, but he'd been leading the defense, he'd been rebounding, and did you see some kind of poetic justice in the game ending like that?
Yeah, I think two things. I think we said this morning this was going to be a game that would have to be won on multiple efforts, and that was primarily in reference to what we needed to do defensively, but we won the game on a multiple effort play. And we had the early advantage getting the stop. I think the 42 seconds, even though we didn't score on that possession, we essentially got a 2-for-1. So we were, as long as we got a stop, we were going to get a look at it. And because we had an advantage, they were in scramble mode, felt really comfortable just letting those guys play. And Bron just made a huge play, and I think it's another great example, where he doesn't necessarily have it going early. And got off to a slow start offensively. He was so good defensively. He was so good on the glass for us and really led us on that end, and then takes over in the fourth quarter and then gets rewarded by the basketball gods because he didn't let go of the rope and didn't stop competing.
I'm sure there were moments tonight, I'm sure, where you didn't quite see what you were looking for, but it seemed like for the most part of the game you did, kind of getting back to what you were looking for. Did you feel that way and in putting it kind of on wax like that?
Way more good than bad. We did like four of the dumbest things I've ever seen us do all season. I already told the guys that. Like nonsensical stuff. You take those plays out of it, like everything else, we played well enough to win the game. And that was 11 points they had, and it was all 3 on side out of bounds in the first half and 1 at the end of the third quarter. Just nonsensical, lack of awareness plays. Outside of that, when we were able to set our defense, I thought we were great in the half court. The turnovers, when you have a live ball turnover against this team, it's basically just put points on the scoreboard for them. They're just so good in transition when you turn the ball over. I thought in the first half there was a lot of early offense for us where we were playing with some thrust and pace, particularly in that second quarter. And then in the second half, it was more about execution, and when we were able to stay calm and execute, we got really good stuff. And truthfully missed a bunch of wide open shots and had some shots at the rim that we didn't convert. But I thought our process, outside of some sort of early offense, no pass possessions, I thought our process in the second half offensively was great.
You guys had lost 7 out of 10. You admitted to us the other night that we're going through it a little bit. Your guy, Rui, had been missing for almost 2 months. Hits back-to-back threes. You go up 6 in the final 2 minutes. They take the lead. Like, all those contextual things added up. Had this been a loss and not a win, can you just speak to what the emotional toll it would have been, and on the flip side of that, what type of boost you get from this result?
Yeah, if we were just saying in the coach's room, it felt like a game we won 3 times and we lost 3 times, and we ended up winning the game. And it's hard to win in the NBA. It's hard to win against a great team like Indiana. Frankly, they don't ever get talked about enough nationally. They're a phenomenal basketball team. Rick is a phenomenal coach, and they're going to be a tough out in the East again. For our group to get 2 wins against them, that's given our struggles against the Eastern Conference. We're really happy with that. And I think Rui just, again, getting back in the groove, getting some confidence from tonight. Thought he was shot ready in the first half, and those 2 threes were huge. And frankly, we don't win the game without our bench tonight. Vando leading the charge there with the plus-minus. But regardless of what the plus-minus looks like, I thought those guys gave us an intensity and an effort that bled through the entire group.
JJ, LeBron's done a lot of stuff in this league. He had never played a game where he hadn't made a basket through 3 quarters, in which he played the third quarter. What was sort of his demeanor like as that happened? And, did it tell you anything, not that it needed to, about his commitment to winning, that he was still engaged in all the other facets?
Well, I think certainly there was a level of frustration from starting whatever it was, 0 for 6 or whatever it was. we missed them early on some early offense seals against smaller players. I think we missed them 3 times in the first half. And sometimes when you're not in the offensive flow, just getting the ball at the rim, scoring a layup, getting to the free throw line, that can really get you going. So we kind of missed out on some opportunities to get him going earlier, but never have questioned that guy's commitment to winning.
They were able to attack, I think, in a 70-second stretch. They scored 3 straight times.
Yeah.
2 of them, there was no low help whatsoever. What did you – obviously, you'll need to review it more, but what kind of went wrong?
Well, I think it starts on the ball, and that's continues to be a point of emphasis for us. And I thought, those 3 plays, they were all Luka, and he had some really good possessions on the ball. He had some really good low man possessions, some really good help possessions. We showed a couple at halftime. Like, he's got to do better there. I think the sort of thought process is no threes when you have that lead. I would still like a little more engagement from all 5 guys and try to get a stop and play our defense with that amount of time on the clock.
JJ, just as a shooter, Rui, without getting a lot of looks, hits all 4 of his threes, including the 2 in clutches. How difficult is that when your volume is low, you haven't been playing in a while, and kind of what does that say?
I think just, I told him and Gabe, just be shot ready. With 7 or whatever the 7-minute-ish timeout was, just be shot ready. Always trust those guys, off the bench to take and make big shots for us. And those were 2 huge ones. I think, again, it's just regaining the rhythm and confidence for Rui. He's so important to our team. Was really happy for him that he was able to step up in that moment.
JJ, from a opposite perspective, Tyrese 18 assists, 1 turnover. I believe since the All-Star break, 160 assists, 14 turnovers. To prepare for someone like that, what is that like as a coach?
Yeah, I'm going to have to check the tape on that. There's a little home cooking there on the 18 assists.